third time's a charm. Let's. we're in theory. We're in theory live again.
Hello, everybody. we have a Dan back, and apparently also Thor. So we'll see if this sticks this time.
All right, I'm going to just turn. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the 3D off, and we're gonna stop.
Do you think it was that? Do you think
I have
the video...
I have a couple suspicions. So with the 3D, I created a like projector window that was then taking up a full screen, specifically to make it as big as possible to minimize the headaches, so that you're not trying to, so that your eyes aren't converging too close.
Right.
So if it's bigger, they're both looking kind of straight ahead, and it's going to minimize eye strain because they're not converging quite as close, and so the ocular muscles don't need to hold them at an inward angle quite as much. So I had done that, and I think that might have been the culprit, maybe. That, or it's just a side effect of having updated my OS and OBS in the same weekend. And
wow, Dan, good job. So smart.
Oh yeah,
very good.
yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, yeah. Just let's install all the patches on Sunday.
Basically, here's the deal. Who cares about the 3D part of the game, though? The whole point was that you just wanted to make Triss get 3D glasses. Like, no one could tell it was 3D. It's not like you had...
Okay, well, here's the thing. I have now turned it off. Does it actually look any different?
Like, the colors are slightly, like, brighter. Like, they're... You know what I mean? Like, the colors look slightly different, but I don't know. It could just be that, like, you beat enough of the Frost dudes that the color palette changed a little, like, or you're, like, not in the same shade. But it definitely doesn't look any different to me regardless, because, remember, I have to be turned all the way down to be able to watch and talk to you at the same time on my terrible internet. Like the difference between anything and anything, like, it has to be so disparate for me to tell the difference on my, like, 180p whatever I have streaming right now.
Well, there's wind sweep. Okay, Mjolnir Smash is not is not 4 in triangle. Or I don't know if I can do it again. These combo, like, wait. What's the timing on them? I can't figure out the timing, because apparently I'm not even actually doing wind sweep consistently, even though I think I am. All right, I'm pretty sure we can just square our way through the game anyway. Fury meter is full. R1 to unleash Thor's might. Yeah. Oh, it just hits everything in the arena. All right, that's fine. Yay, we got Lady Sif back. I can hear all your clickety-clacking. All right, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. We got subtitles.
Ooh, fancy.
I've got a headache.
Well, maybe take off the Trisket box, Dan.
I took off the Trisket box.
Oh, you did?
I did. I'm trying to figure out what percentage of the headache is from...
Maybe the Trisket box glasses can be a reward for one of your future Patreon tiers when you finally make one.
I'm trying to figure out what percentage. Press R1 to perform the leap. I'm trying to figure out what percent of the headache is from the glasses, like the 3D, and what percent of it is just from stream being a butt.
The headache.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna guess it's at least partly in part due to it partially part like because of the frustration brain.
Tap R2 for a quick light hammer throw.
Which movie is this one of?
The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
When they first find out, spoilers, guys, we're like 30 movies in, so
yeah,
I'm
Loki.
gonna say it, but like I'm gonna say the spoiler also. But so this is when we first find out that Loki's like a frost giant baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to like.
That is this movie.
There's been so many of them that I have to try to remember them in terms of like kind of plot points. It's like for me with Ghostbusters, I never know which one's which because I just always, oh god. I've always watched them both kind of like at the same time. So even when people are like, yeah, it's the one with the big marshmallow guy, I'm like, I don't know which one I don't know which one is which.
I'm just going to say this game has a really silly number of moves that are very poorly differentiated. Like, look, I just got another tap triangle to summon a wind burst? What, like, what is this? Maybe the depth on these clouds, maybe you're supposed to, this is their way of being like, oh yeah, you gotta have 3D. Collect 2 Thunderbolts to unlock a new color for Thor's lightning powers. Now I have mastered Wind Blast by virtue. Okay, health runestones. Red runestones release health runes. Approach the runestone and hold circle. Okay, it's just a healing chest. Blue. This is like a God of War clone where they wanted to give you literally every power Kratos has ever had in just like the first 10 minutes.
You instead of instead of seeding them in, you just get them all right now. I have a feeling it's because you're gonna go to Earth soon, and like your hammer is gonna, you're gonna lose your hammer. That's what happens, right? You don't have it. It gets locked up by shield in that facility, and
yes,
you have to
because you're not worthy of it. Because Thor isn't worthy of it.
So they're giving you everything now because you're not even gonna get to use it anyway until later. Did Natalie Portman just say, like, fuck it, I'm never doing superhero movies again? Like, I know that she preggers? Didn't she have a kid?
Okay.
Like, she didn't die. Like, why are they not bonking?
So, she, like, after the second movie, she was basically like, look, either Jane starts actually doing stuff or...
like she actually gets to be a real scientist.
She actually gets to be a real character who is here and does stuff, or I'm out. I mean, it was basically the same thing that Gwyneth Paltrow she was playing
Pepper Potts.
Pepper Potts, yeah. So Thor and Tony both no crap. What was the ability to? How did I fly towards these? There we go, R1. There's weight, and we've got a hint system. Okay. At one point, it was like R3 to go into hammer throwing mode.
Okay, I'm asking you
Or
this without knowing
use hammer
what it
throws
is,
or hammer throw.
okay.
Why are there two different modes for throwing hammers?
Dan, I'm asking you about this. I don't know what it is, so if it's just like don't talk about it, then just tell me not to talk about it. But Special Hell asks, what are your thoughts on PeerTube?
I don't know anything about PeerTube yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't. This is the first time I've seen that at all. So. Nope.
Oh, I got an achievement, Rage of Battle. Oh,
you gotta check the tweet you just got tagged in. It's my favorite.
And I just, like, threw myself off the edge. Fun facts, no speedrun.com entry and 6 hours on how long to beat.
So they got their voices, but they weren't allowed to use their likenesses. What's going on?
Well, no, okay, so I think they were allowed. Oh, those are save points. Okay, I think they were allowed to use their likeness because, okay, obviously, like they have Chris Hemsworth on the cover of the game box. I think it's just that there was a few pieces of key art done before they had clearance.
Before they're like, we're gonna make it really close, but
so before the contracts were all like done, you know, they obviously had to start work as soon. Wait, what? Was it? Did you catch?
I caught nothing. I was looking
Okay,
at Twitter.
Let me.
Wait, but I'm
Valor
behind, so maybe I'll
runestones
see
release bonus Valor. Move the L until the left wheel is spinning quickly and glowing blue. Hold the L in that position. Then move R until the right wheel is spinning quickly and glowing blue. Hold both in the correct positions for a short time to release the Valor runes. Okay.
Gross. This is like some super dynamic gameplay that they've created here.
Okay. It's a lock-picking mini game. Okay. I don't. All right.
Remember that time that we had that lockpicking mini game and you couldn't do it and you were doing it for like 300 years? Do you remember that time?
It was really, really janky.
But do you remember
the
it?
Jellerhorn, use it to alert the city. Do I remember it?
Does it still haunt your nightmares? Is this the response that I'm receiving? I feel like it is. I think you should try to beat up that statue because I think it's Loki in disguise. I think he's actually that statue.
Everything is Loki in disguise.
Everything is Loki. The snakes, everything.
Okay. I want someone to try to answer this. Why are there two different systems for throwing your hammer?
Because they're two different ways to throw. One's underhand and one's overhand, obviously.
Oh, and now we have a grapple. Grapple attacks. Melee gives health runes, gives valor runes, gives Odin force runes. Okay, well we want to just triangle everything and get bonus XP. So I guess this is our new strategy, is we're just going to grapple and triangle every chump mob. So get used to seeing this. Get over here. There we go. To get bonus XP. We're
Dan,
maximizing
listen to me.
our gameplay strategy.
You're gonna need to help me help you here because you're starting to do that
Hey,
thing.
we got new power, Thunder Trench. We got Thunder Trench. Press triangle to send a trench of Thunder Force. They can travel under barriers. Use it to describe the Jotun on the other side of the ice. And we found collect 5 sets of Valk nuts. Collect 5 sets of Valk nuts to something. I got hung up on the word Valk nuts and didn't catch the rest of that.
It's actually Valknuts. That's actually a thing. Although they're not a nut. They're not like a nuts and bolts nut though. It's something else. But like, you know, if you're just gonna be this liberal with Norse mythology already, maybe
Like-
change the name. Like, why choose Valknuts to be the time that you actually pick a real word?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a nut, like nuts and bolts nut. It's actually the knot thing. It's their trinity.
Oh god. All right, here's our XP tree. Wow, that's a lot of. Okay, general upgrades, melee upgrades, lightning power upgrades, thunder power upgrades, wind power upgrades, and hammer throw upgrades. Hammer throw upgrades to start. Meteor throw. After performing a move in which Thor slams Mjolnir into the ground, he leaps high into the air and hurls the hammer back into the ground, where it impacts in an explosion of energy that damages all nearby enemies. Can be performed after impact during Mjolnir smash, hammer slam, or ground pound. Overhand throw. Thor holds Mjolnir overhead and hurls it with both hands. The hammer flies end over end, dealing heavy armor damage and knocking most enemies aside. Can also be performed midair.
Dan, why doesn't the game tell you how complicated the combination will be for, like, it should show you what the combo is so that you can literally just choose by the least shitty, like the least amount of button presses.
There's too much game in this game. It's only 6 hours long. Why? Oh my. Okay. How about... Wait, Thor's maximum health is permanently increased by 125. Thor begins a new game with 1,000 health. What? 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 Thor begins a new game with 1,000...
I think maybe like if you
they're
die,
telling
you come
you.
back.
Oh no, I think they're just telling you how much HP you have. So it's like, hey, you get 125 HP, and you're sitting there like, okay, sweet, that sounds like a lot. And then you realize that it's a 12.5% increase in Thor's health because you've got 1,000 hit points. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. Yeah, because then these other ones are like, hey, you get an additional 250. So all combined, you get 375. You get a 37% increase in Thor's total health. Oh, what else do we... Odin Force regeneration slowly regenerates Odin Force over time automatically. Okay, let's check out these melee upgrades. Charged Lightning Shield. Thor can now charge the Lightning Shield combo, releasing a huge ring of electrical energy that knocks enemies away. Tap square, then hold triangle to trigger. Okay, people, developers who made Thor, there are in fact more than 2 buttons on this controller. Though, okay, alright, this game also came out for the DS.
What?
There,
I feel like doing combos on a DS might possibly be easier.
maybe. I don't know. But then there's things we've used R3. I don't know what's okay. Charged Thunderbreaker can now charge the Thunderbreaker combo, unleashing a triple burst of Thunder Force that deals massive damage to enemy armor. Tap square square, then hold triangle to trigger. Lightning power, Tempest Strikes. When performing lightning strikes, the number of lightning bolts that Thor calls down increases from 2 to 3. When performing Lightning Storm, Thor can now more quickly guide the storm across the battlefield. I don't even have that ability yet, so there's something to look forward to. Fault Line, Thunder Trench travels further and faster. Earthshaker, the forward-facing blast wave generated by Earthquake travels further, dealing massive armor damage to enemies. Twister, when performing Cyclone, Thor can now more quickly guide the Cyclone across the battlefield.
Dan, roll a d12.
Wind Blast travels further, hitting enemies or dispersing flames or freezing mist from even farther away. Just a sec. Okay.
Roll a d12. The left yellow is 1.
Left
Going
yellow
around
is
to the
1.
blue.
Okay.
Going clockwise to blue.
Well, we could do a 6 and then flip a coin. Or do you just want to do 12?
You could do that. So then yellow would be 1. Blue would be 6.
D6 or D12?
Yeah, do D6 and then flip a coin.
Okay. 4. So general and then
green.
High. Yeah, so green and then high is right. And a 6. So we're taking the health upgrade.
Perfect.
The die has spoken.
The die and the GM crystal has spoken.
Okay.
Dan, how do you think D&D would play if you had like, say like 2 or 3 actual players, and then you did like a Twitch play with like a 3rd or 4th NPC? Just how do you think that would go? Do you think that'd be good times? Do you feel like it'd be just the worst thing? It'd have to be some sort of like mentally unstable character who could not make up their minds about anything, obviously, because their choices just have no consistency.
Wait,
Gamers Tavern Show says that Twitch did try that once, and the experiment did not go well.
Oh, you're asking about a Twitch does D&D.
Yeah, but like they control one character as a group. In an otherwise like, you know, a couple other people, so that people are still there to like move things forward, but the group controls.
Given the like actual chaos of Twitch plays Pokemon, I can't imagine it going, you know, well.
Right, but to be fair to the Pokemon thing, didn't they finish? Like,
they did, but like the whole thing was that it was, you know, utter chaos.
Okay, all right, I see.
And it took, you know, what, like, it took days. It took like a week. Or at least it felt like it. I don't know how long it actually took, but it felt like it was going on for like so long.
Yeah, it did take a while. I remember that. I didn't even know what Twitch was when that happened. Vexel says that Twitch could play the enemies like an oncoming horde. That might work. Like, every single thing. I'm gonna play I'm gonna play HQ trivia while you try to kill these frost giants.
I gotta.
If anybody's not addicted to or playing HQ trivia yet, hit me up for my friend codes so that you guys can give me some free lives.
Wait, you're just gonna
I'm
play a mobile game?
it takes less than 15 minutes, and I usually get out around the 6th or 7th question. That's like my average. Sometimes I go a few later. So
But it's like boss fight time, probably.
you're fighting.
We're blowing the horn.
I can still see. It's like literally next to me. It's just over here on the side on my phone. Dan, you don't even know how many times I've hit like merge pocket plants and like random things on my phone when you just start getting way too into like game theory or something.
We tooted the horn. We are.
I saw you. I'm still watching. I saw you toot the horn. Whatever that building or whatever that is looks like a giant organ. Like a big pipe organ.
True. Everything in this game looks like a giant pipe organ, though.
I mean, sure.
Or like every building, all of these buildings look like pipe organs.
When are you going to Earth and making out with Natalie Portman?
Not soon enough.
Oh, I want you to go meet that cute little lady at the diner where you broke her mug. I want that part. Well, this part's stupid. No one even cares about this part.
All right, Valkyrie's
Whoa,
gift. If Thor's health reaches
God,
0, the Valkyrie's gift restores a portion of his health. Possession of Valkyrie's gift appears as a glowing element above the health indicator.
You just domed that. You like grabbed him by the hair and just ripped him backwards into the most uncomfortable position and then like electrified him. That was insane. That was like bizarrely graphic for this early in this venture.
Just shocked him right in the nipples.
Like just directly in the nips. Guys, if you're gonna play with electricity play, be safe. Be safe. Turn it up gradually. Don't come out the gate, and make sure you have a safe word. There's your game related kink advice for the day, apparently.
There we go. All right. So the plot of the game is that frost giants are attacking Asgard.
Oh wait, I do have another piece of electricity play kink advice for everyone. Never use any electricity play devices on mucous membranes or very close to them. So that's don't shove it up your nose. Don't shove it into any orify. Flat skin surface area only. Okay, all right. Cool. Beat this guy. Beat him up. Oh, is he just like the same thing but big?
Yeah, I mean he's wearing.
I hate that. I hate that trope in video games. It's like, well, it'll just be the same thing but big now.
We don't. This is yet another like action game where we don't have a dodge button. Wait, is that your thing, or is this guy like, is that radio chatter in game?
That is definitely my quiz show, but I will turn it down because I can just read. I don't need to hear this guy talk. He's kind of weird anyway.
Grapple the Frost Goliath. Alright, quick time. Okay, vaulting. Thor must destroy the Frost Goliath's shoulders before he can grab the Jotun inside. To vault, hold L in the direction of a vault arrow, then press O when the arrow is highlighted. Destroying the shoulder, press square to perform melee attacks. These do less damage but release health and Odin Force runes. To perform a power attack which deals massive damage, power attacks, and grapples. Oh, okay, I'm really low on health, so we're going to get the health and Odin Force runes. And we'll dodge these.
Wow, how many games have I played with this exact boss model where it's just like run to avoid him hitting the ground because he's real big, and then while he's hitting the ground, run up behind him or next to him and beat on him? How many games, Dan? How many games?
Too many.
Honestly.
All right.
Honestly, like, I guess that's every fight in WoW, because you don't have like a active dodge, or like you really do. You just run in circles during any fight.
Alright, we've got mana. Let's just electroshock this guy a whole bunch. Oh, I think he's in grapple mode? Oh, yeah, he was in grapple mode. We needed to grapple him. And let's just do the massive damage. Alright, next phase.
Dan, I think we should play a Zelda. I think we should play a Zelda. I think I'm gonna call in my screw your bracket. We're gonna play a legitimate game card in the next couple weeks.
Which I think I only have one Zelda game I could easily stream.
Is it Wind Waker? Because I would have told you to do that one anyway. It's a very underrated Zelda.
No, actually, wait. I have two. I have. We could do either Link's Awakening or Link to the Past.
Which one's Awakening?
It's the prequel to Link to the Past. It's Game Boy. It's the Game Boy game.
Okay, look, neither of these we're gonna play because you're skirting the issue, which is I said let's play a legitimate game, and then you out the gate named the one Zelda that collectively has the most arguments about being a good Zelda.
What?
Link to the Past is so controversial among Zelda fans.
What? It is? What?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
What?
Because no one can figure out where it fits in the timeline, and it messes up everybody's theories, and like nobody.
But it's classic.
I mean, yes, it is classic, but a lot of people are like, "Wow, okay, everybody is disagreeing with me."
I think
I said it's controversial. I didn't say it was a bad game.
You said it was controversial about whether or not it's a good game.
Whether or not it's like a good Zelda.
Yeah, and that I don't think is controversial. I don't think that's like controversial at all.
Apparently, this is my hottest take ever.
This might be like Link to the Past is like one of the reference points for, you know, Zelda as a whole.
Maybe I'm just remembering the Zelda discourse from like when I was a kid. Like these all came out when I was a child, guys. So wow, people are saying that they think it's the Zelda game? Like better than classic original Zelda?
Yeah, I mean, well, yes.
I mean, like,
So
okay, so I know,
really the actual
I know
argument,
everybody loves Ocarina of Time.
yeah, like really the argument about which is like the Zelda game is Ocarina of Time versus Link to the Past.
Wow, okay, guys, calm down. It's not a hot take. I said that it was controversial. I didn't say it was a bad game. Jeez, everybody's so grumpy right now. Okay,
You
so,
I mean, I just want to say, whether you intended it or not, you did roundabout imply that there is a substantial number of people who think
then
Link to the
then
Past is bad.
maybe that was just in my circle. Okay.
Yeah, I think you need new friends.
And I didn't say that they said it was bad. I said that, okay, all right, look. Let's just back it up here. Everybody calm down your boobies and okay. So Ocarina of Time is the one that like everybody's obsessed with, right? That's like the one that everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is so good." And apparently you're telling me that also Link from the Past is also up there along with Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
In fact,
so,
yeah. I would say even more so because
would you say, or do you think collectively the consensus is it's a slight win above Ocarina?
I would say that collectively, collectively, Link to the Past is the one that there's like no argument about.
Really? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one, but I just always remembered Link to the Past as being the one that people were like leave it off the list. Okay, all right. So we've got, I guess, okay, so we'll go with this apparently. What's the other one everybody is always talking about? The oh god. Majora's Mask. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
See, now, if you want an actual controversy, it's arguments about whether or not Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time, and the correct answer is yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying the answer is yes, but that's a controversial question among some people.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's the other one with it's named after a piece of the cap,
Minish Cap?
Minish Cap.
Minish Cap is a little
where it's like a bird, but it's also your hat.
Yes.
Is that the okay?
Minish Cap is a little bit more controversial, in part because it was like a lot less played, like a lot fewer people actually played it. Call of Valhalla recharges Thor's Odin Force and grants him unlimited Odin Force for a short period. Oh, okay. If we got unlimited, we can just spam lightning bolts.
Okay.
Same with the two Oracle games, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons.
Okay, those two, the one where you travel through time and where you travel through like the seasons or whatever. Those two I played because they came out for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And
but they came out for the Game Boy like pretty late into the Game Boy's life.
They came out. Were they actually Game Boy games or were they Game Boy Color games?
Game Boy Color.
I feel like they were Game Boy Color games.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I will straight up say this. Like, as much as I obsessively love all things Zelda, the only two that I have, that's the only one that I've actually played all the way through, like start to finish, was Wind Waker. And that was just because it was like I had access to it at a period of my life where I had a lot of free time and a boyfriend who was also a gamer. So we would just like sit around and pass the controller back and forth
Mm-hmm.
and like beat it together, along with Super Mario Sunshine, which I have fond memories of, even though it's absolutely ridiculous and says really, really weird stuff about Bowser and Peach's relationship. But you know, that's a story for another day.
What? It says that they're in a happy, fulfilled relationship with. I mean, maybe. Okay. I say we
The
can criticize
implication-
them. We can
the-
criticize them for imposing their kidnapping kink on non-consenting public parties by doing
No, but
it
listen,
in
but
public
listen
all the
though.
time.
What the implication is that Peach birthed Bowser Jr.
Is the mother of Bowser's children? Yes.
Not the mother like adopted, but she had baby Bowser
Yes.
as
Yeah.
a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. She birthed. She is the biological
So-
mother of Bowser's children. Yes.
Canonically, Bowser is half human woman and half like dinosaur dragon turtle.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. No.
So, okay, so we're just that's a totally different combo. Going back to Zelda. So the only one I played all the way through was Wind Waker, and I really, really liked it. And I was there. Okay, so there was one part of it, not one part, but like one section of the game that was so fucking tiresome and stupid that I understand why people didn't like that. But I think it got like a lot of flack because people didn't like, I don't know, like the look of it or whatever. But I remember people saying that it was like the worst Zelda that's ever been Zelda and blah, blah. And then when I got to play through it, I was like, I really liked it. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. So the only other ones that I played though was original Zelda, because I had the NES. I didn't get to play Link to the Past or Awakening. Both of those were also NES games. I know Link to the Past was, but was the other one?
Wait, Link to the Past and Link's Awakening?
Yeah.
Also, we
Like,
unlocked.
I know Link to the Past was original Nintendo. Was Link's Awakening original Nintendo?
No, Link's Awakening was Game Boy. Link to the Past is Super Nintendo.
Oh, I thought it was original Nintendo. Okay, well, I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I only got to play Super Nintendo at my bio dad's house. And he didn't buy anything good. He had like Madden, like this first stupid Madden, and like a bunch of bad games. The only good game he had on the SNES was Super Mario World, which is by far one of, if not the best, Super Mario. So, just putting that out there. That was good.
So, if you want here's an actual controversial Zelda opinion. Phantom Hourglass is one of the top 5 Zeldas.
On the handheld, the DS.
No. Well, yes, but like I mean, period. Like Phantom
No.
Hourglass.
But I
is
mean,
actually,
you're talking about the one that was for the Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So I did get to play that one, but I didn't get to play it enough that I would really count it. I got to like fiddle around in the first couple like rooms basically of the dungeon. I was renting it from work because I was working at Blockbuster at the time, so I would just like borrow it when I had an extra rental for the week and like diddle around with it. But I didn't really get to like dedicate myself to it. But I did get to play a lot more of Oracle of Ages. I don't remember which one it is. And Oracle of Seasons, because I borrowed those from our buddy Drew and played those.
Now,
Phantom
okay,
Hourglass
player number
was the-
three, I need to disagree. So Phantom Hourglass would be so much better without that damn ocean temple you keep having to do. Wrong. The ocean temple
That is the
what
conceit
makes
of greatness.
what makes it great. Like that is in fact the thing that you
Wait, okay, so
you'll
are people
just watch
saying
his
there
cape.
was-
Just watch
there-
his cape.
Wait.
So the thing with the ocean temple is that like that you have to keep going through it, but that you're constantly getting new abilities, new things that allow you to navigate through it in a way that other Zelda games don't give you. So all Zelda games have that element of like, oh, well, you get a new ability that enables you to like get past obstacles that you've seen earlier. But by having that concentrated in a single single environment that you're revisiting and that you're learning and perfecting, really changes the dynamic in a way that I think is really good.
I think it was genius. I absolutely loved what I got to play of it, and I still regret not being able to play it more. And it's one of those games that I would 100%, like, I still have my DSi, I would 100% play if I could find, like, a used copy at a game store or online or something. I would play it finally. Also, I don't know what was the... So there were 2 sequels to Wind Waker, because Phantom Hourglass was a sequel to Wind Waker.
Yes.
So what was the other one where it was, like, more focused on pirate Zelda?
Well, so...
Something about the ship or something.
No, so there was Phantom Hourglass and then Spirit Tracks. Wait, the one that was more focused on Zelda. Oh,
Pirate Zelda.
Yeah, that's Spirit Tracks, where you spend a lot more time with what is her name in the...
And that was also a DS game, right? Those 2 were both DS.
Yeah, they're
okay.
Kind of directly.
Yeah, and both of those were sequels to Wind Waker. So okay, yep. All right. So I'm following. Wait, someone said that there was also a Zelda 2.
Yeah, Zelda 2: Link's Adventure.
Okay, is Zelda 2 the bad one?
It's
because maybe I was thinking Zelda
great.
2, but saying Link to the Past, thinking that Link to the Past was Zelda 2. Because I didn't even have Zelda 2 on my radar till someone just said that. So I could have been talking about Zelda 2. So everybody calm down about my apparently hot take earlier.
Spirit Tracks only had Ghost Zelda, not Tetra.
Okay, so yeah, Thim says Zelda 2 is the extremely controversial one. It's the side-scrolling one that's different from all the others. Okay, see, so I was thinking of Zelda 2 being really controversial.
Okay, so you were just thinking
Link to the Past
of the wrong game.
Right, I was thinking that Link to the Past was Zelda 2, and that Zelda, like, I didn't realize there was actually a Zelda, like, literally called Zelda 2 with a subtitle. I thought Zelda 2 was just the second Zelda that came out, and that was also Link to the Past. So I just had my timeline wrong.
Okay,
guys.
so that explains your extremely wrong opinion.
Well, it wasn't wrong. It was correct. I just was saying the wrong name. Okay, guys, did you hear that? Just, louder for the people in the back. I was actually not thinking of Link to the Past. You can all keep your beloved Link to the Past unbesmirched by Crystal's apparent hot takes. I really meant Zelda 2. So... Okay, so Kamikaze says that they do both have Link in the title, so I can be forgiven for the mix-up. Yes, everyone can get your boobs back in a tizzy. You can uncalm thine titties.
Okay, so speaking of the game of Thor here, one of the things that's really standing out. So triangle is the finisher for like all of your actual, combos. But on its...
You mean back to this game? I thought.
Yeah, back to Thor.
Zelda.
Back to Thor. So triangle is how you end a combo, like basically how you turn something into a combo. But it on its own is the cast your spell button. So if you time it wrong, rather than doing whatever combo attack you were trying to do, you end up just casting a spell and using up your mana.
Amazing. I love it. That's such a great interface. I love it when that kind of thing happens.
All right, let's... There we go, Lightning Storm. Just burn all of our mana on one attack. Just because. Press R1 to release Thor's Might. Alright, I think that Thor's Fury cannot be contained. Slaughter the Jotun as quick as possible.
Thomas at LazyBones1717 on the Twatters made a very hilarious, quick Photoshop job of you with those glasses on with your pull quote, "This is not good."
Yes, yes.
And I keep re-seeing it in my feed and laughing every time. Okay, so speaking of Zelda and also dungeons, let's complain about D&D some more.
Sweet. I love complaining about D&D.
Oh,
I love complaining.
I love it.
I love complaining about D&D almost as much as I love D&D.
Yes,
it's one of my two favorite ways of interacting with D&D.
Is to complain about it, but
D&D
also
and complaining
just
about
deal
D&D.
with playing it as it is.
Yeah, so my two favorite ways of interacting with Dungeons and Dragons are first playing Dungeons and Dragons and second complaining about Dungeons and Dragons.
And then third though,
Laura is across the room giving me very dramatic I'm shocked faces.
To be fair to her, your two favorite ways of interacting with anything are complaining about it and enjoying it. So...
yeah. I mean, though, in a non-snarky sense, those are very...
Those two switch hierarchies depending on what it is.
Yeah, and in a non-snarky way, those are actually, like, very broad categories.
It's true. I think, though, that a close third and or, like, a 2.5, like, nested under the complaining, like, your third way of enjoying it, is trying to figure out a way to fix it. Okay, let's complain about it, and then after we're done complaining, how can we adjust that so that it's fixed? I think that's like the next favorite thing of yours with D&D.
True, though increasingly with D&D, it's like I've started to realize like how deep so many of the problems go that it's like, okay, so you need to start from the ground up with an eye towards the following issues.
And we've talked about this where your first thought is to just implode the building and redig the basement. And my first thought is, what's the most complete yet non-invasive way to house rule a thing so that it makes it more engaging and playable? And so, guys, this is me announcing that someday Dan and I will have a podcast. It's going to be called Topping from the Bottom Up, and Dan's going to come at the system from the basement, and I'm going to come at it from the surface level, and we're going to find ways to meet in the middle on all D&D issues to give you guys house rules for how to fix everything wrong with 5th edition. This is our next project. And I said it in public now, Dan, so obviously we have to do it. So
now we have to.
You can't not do it now.
We said it in public. That makes it law of the internet.
It's the law of the internet. We said out loud. It's just we have to do it now. A lot of people are agreeing that they would definitely listen to that. You guys, I'm sorry I'm dying.
All right.
Just, if you hear me stop coughing and also not talk or answer Dan, I'm dead. So someone call the cops. I'm doing my best.
I'm going to upgrade the melee stuff just because it's the only one here that doesn't use mana. It's the only stuff here that doesn't use mana. Charged wind sweep.
Okay.
Charged
You
Mjolnir
guys
smash.
fixed it.
You know what? We
I fixed my
actually
throat.
Yeah.
Vexel says that we're gonna fix 5e with D&D centrism, and that's wrong. We're gonna fix D&D with if we were even gonna go close to that metaphor, it would be cross-party cooperation. Vexel says, I don't think D&D is fun if you can't roll dice, and oh boy, do Dan and I have some hot takes for you.
Wait, Vex says it's not fun if you can't
roll dice. Although Vex did follow that back up, that it's not as fun if you're playing online. So Vex meant literally.
Oh, literally
like
physically rolling dice.
And
okay.
not like digitally rolling dice.
I mean, I would agree that like rolling dice, like the tactile rolling of dice is a super satisfying.
I do miss that. Although if you are a really big nerd, if you do get a game going and you use Roll20, they have some crazy things you can do with creating dice macros and like making insta roll buttons and using the built-in stuff. And even though it's not the same kind of fun as the like tangible nature of rolling real dice, it's really fun to get your fingers in the macro system of the dice roller in Roll20. So like it's a different kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was, oh, god damn it, my throat again. Why? What is it? Vex, if I was gonna drag you, quote, so hard, it would all be in great, loving fun. Honestly, if anybody actually legitimately feels like if I've made fun of them on the stream and it actually hurt their feels, please privately message me. And or call me out publicly if you feel so inclined. But I would hope you all know that other than Dan, obviously Dan is just bad at games, and so when I drag Dan, he should be ashamed. But I mean, other than Dan, everyone else, it's all in good fun. So, Dan, hot takes. Top of your, what's the first thing that you like? If you only could complain about one thing and like one piece of D&D, what would you complain? And don't just be like the dice system. I mean, I don't mean broad. I mean like one tiny like what?
Like how microscopic do you want me to get?
Let's go like the microscopic end of the mid-range. So like to the microscopic side of center.
The way that Mike Merles doesn't understand the changes that were made to the hit point system in 4th.
Oh, like back to you have like 5 hit points at starting level?
Yeah.
And that is the dumbest plan ever to be dumbed. Yeah, I totally agree. I 100 bajillion% agree. Even if you didn't want to do that for all of the monsters, like even if you didn't want to give all the monsters equivalently larger hit point pools, just let characters destroy things for the first couple levels. We've already talked about this, that the game doesn't really start until 3rd level anyway. Like none of the classes really have all of their true class abilities until 3rd level anyway. So like just let the players destroy everything for a couple levels till the other, monsters catch up in HP.
Yeah, I mean, and part of it, like, I don't know, just a lot of the tuning and balance in fifth and the like underlying concepts behind it and how well those ideas end up being executed. Like, I don't know, it's really incoherent and a lot of it's conflicting. So you have the whole thing with the like sort of the underlying idea was that it's like, okay, well now you've got a uh, oh dang it! Sorry, this is giving me a new ability, I guess. All right, that is really hard to aim, and also has a huge wind up. Okay, is this gonna give me an infinite? Yeah, there we go. All right, we've got infinite. Here, we've got infinite. Let's just go. Oh, it's over.
Did you win yet?
I'm using charged lightning shield to like AoE all of these schmucks down.
Love it. Loving it. Just really into it.
Oh, I wound up accidentally using lightning storm, but that's okay. It like killed most of them, so that's fine.
So hit points.
Yeah, so you have these conflicting ideas about what the first couple levels even are. So one of the things that they were kind of trying to do with fifth was to create a little bit more of a tutorial section that is like
Which
to
is
the
stupid.
game, which is not in and of itself like an awful idea. You know, if there is anything,
I would agree with you if the game made it more clear that if you're an experienced player, you should start at level 3.
yes, yes. So
Like
if
it
it
should
did
say
actually,
that 1 and 2 are if you've never played before, and if you want to hit the ground running with players who have all played before, just start at level 3.
yeah, so it needed some other way to distinguish itself, and then just within this idea of having a tutorial section, of having a couple tutorial levels, they don't really actually work because you've got this idea of it's like, oh, well, here's these tutorial levels conflicting with the actual sort of content of those levels, which is that it's like, all right, it's going, you know, the first couple levels are really hard and like your characters are super fragile.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's
now,
like we're super classic D&D where it's like your level 1 character can get taken out in one hit, and that's classic D&D, and that's, you know, what
and you know
everybody
what?
craves, but this is directly counter to the idea of a tutorial level.
For me, it's less about the percentage of damage done. Like it's less about the hit points meaning it's less about the hit points meaning that you know, get hit a bit harder for a little while, and more about the fact that at level 1, the whole thing that they were trying, not the whole thing, but one of the things they were trying to fix with fourth was that at level 1 in 3 and 3.5, and maybe before that, but 3.5 was the earliest I played. One of the things they were trying to fix was the problem where you would start a game and you'd go out, you'd fight one small to medium group of monsters, and it would be like, you know, like say you said you left in the morning, it would be, you know, even if you were really generous, you'd be like, okay, it's noon and we need to go take an 8-hour rest. Because all of us have we have
one ability each.
1 or 2 spells left. We have 1 hit point each, and there's no way to heal ourselves. So with fourth, they fixed a lot of that by giving you a larger hit point pool, which lets you stay out longer. They give you healing surges, which let you kind of give yourself back a little bit of oomph and a short rest, which they didn't add back in fifth, but they do, at least at minimum, they do include alternate rules for it. Like they do include, hey, here's an alternate set of doing this sort of thing. It doesn't work quite as well as the
they're
fourth
bad.
edition
They're
version.
bad rules. Like they're
Right.
bad rules that show that they didn't really understand what made the
What
function
made it
in the
great?
first place. Like
Yes.
why people liked
And
it.
then
So
they added at will spells that you just didn't run out of. So you always had at least one thing you could use that did like an okay amount of damage. Maybe it was 1d4, but it was going to be 1d4 plus, your +3 modifier. So you were always doing a little bit of damage if you were a spellcaster, or you always had an ability to let you do a little bit more damage than your weapon damage if you were melee or a weapon fighter. So so they did that, and then in 5th they were like, well, let's take all of that back away and learn none of the lessons. So you're right back to being they made cantrips. They gave you some cantrips that would actually do damage. So if you're a spellcaster, you get cantrips,
but they don't scale.
You have at least one cantrip per spellcasting class that definitely does damage. Some of them have more than others, but every caster has at least one. So you basically have one at-will ability that does some damage. But now you have no hit points, so it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't mean anything anymore.
The concept of the leader role, which was really fleshed out in 4th. Oh, that's what I needed to do. It wanted me to power that up and use it. The leader role, which was really fleshed out in 4th, and they put a lot of you got a lot more dynamics to it. You got short-term buffs, you got short-term debuffs, you had healing in the flow of things. By changing the hit point system and making everybody's hit points so low, and ironically making combat go like really fast in terms of actions, not necessarily in terms of gameplay, like at the table gameplay. 5th can still bog down a lot, and combat can still take like an hour to resolve. But in terms of like actions, combat tends to be over in fairly few actions. But that means that the cost of an action goes way up. So as a cleric, it's like you don't heal in combat. It's going back to the 3rd edition sort of strategy where it's like unless it's a dire situation, like unless someone's down and is about to die, you don't heal in combat because it takes a full action. So really what you do 90% of the time is you take whatever abilities are going to let you end combat sooner, and then you heal up after it's over.
Right. And you need to have someone that can trigger healing abilities, because not everybody has healing surge. Not everybody can use the healing dice thing, your hit dice as healing abilities. So, you're back to the problem someone had mentioned. I don't remember the name who said it, but it's a lot better if you have a bard that has the Song of Rest ability. But here's the problem. The Song of Rest, you don't get that until 6th level, and you only get it from one of the bard colleges. So not only do you have to be like, oh, well, we have to have a healer in the group again, which was part of what was so great about 4th, was that it literally didn't matter anymore if you had at least a healer in the group. In 3.5, somebody was going to be healing bitch. And in 4th, they negated the need for that because everybody could do enough hit point mitigation that you could continue playing. Yes, having a healer made it even better, but
I mean, 3rd did have the mitigation of the item system being so broken that you could just replace a heal. Like, since you did most of your healing out of combat anyway, it's like eventually it's just like, okay, we just have 10 wands of cure light wounds between the party and a few people with use magic item, and that's how we're gonna actually like do this.
Right. And that's if you want to play the kind of game, like if you want to run the kind of game where like if you want the party out longer, you want them to be able to fight more stuff per day, like you that's what you want to do. That's impossible with what you're given, and so you just hand out items that help them change that. And yes, there's some mitigation there because you you can only use those things, like you have to use up your action to use it. You can't use some of that stuff in combat without rolling concentration or, you know, getting attacks of opportunity. So like it has built-in mitigation to like balance that if that's how you want to run it. But you shouldn't
Like
you shouldn't have to.
yeah, replacing an entire character class or like an entire role, like just replacing it with like, oh well, we bought a bunch of wands of cure light wounds. There's something about it that just feels, I don't want to say cheap, but like really unsatisfying.
Honestly, though, that's the problem. You shouldn't need to replace a class with any magic items. You should be able to function as a cohesive party with whatever anybody wants to play that will let them have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and there's kind of there's downstream impacts from other changes. So, like, one of the things that I think everybody has heard me complain about at vast length is the changes to encounter design and monster design and the tools that the DM is given for crafting those. And these end up going hand in hand, because one of the things with fourth, like, is that you could run with a party with basically any composition without too much weirdness, because the tools that the DM had made it really easy to finally craft outcomes. So you
Right.
could, you know, if you had a goal in mind of like, okay, well, here's how I want the game to go, and you're like, all right, my party is, you know, 3 defenders and a wizard. It's like, okay, it's like, here's their strengths, here's their weaknesses, I can deal with that. And maybe you need to, like, you know, you'll probably need to improvise a little bit and like adjust it as you go. Like there will be a learning curve to it, like with a really, like the more non-standard the party is, but the books teach you kind of like all L2 right before impact. The books teach you how to turn those levers. So it's like, okay, here's how you get the outcomes you want. Here's the things that you
Right.
need to change.
Yes, it was very good at that. And so you're right. I mean, part of the issue with fifth then stems from them totally just literally learning nothing from that part of the changes of fourth, just absolutely nothing, and going like, you have to, I'm not kidding, you have to do calculus, you guys, to create a properly balanced encounter in 5th edition. There are literally like and God forbid you want to mix creatures. Because
Okay.
if you do, and even one of them is of a different CR, that changes the entire equation. It is insane. And even in fourth, even if you wanted to just like do it by the math, literally by the math that the book gave you in fourth, because fourth you could do without doing the math, but the math in fourth, if you wanted to use it, was
really
super
straightforward.
simple. It was literally just add it all together, and does this equal the same as the XP of your characters? Done. Like that is.
Yeah.
It was a 1-for-1.
And one of the things with fourth is like you didn't want to mix monster levels too much, but then from that you got it was really, really easy to adjust monsters to a specific level. So if you had a monster that's like, oh well, I really want to use this, you know, I think it'd be really cool for the encounter, but it's like 5 levels too high. It's
they
really
would tell you
easy
like,
to just
okay, we'll
bring it
take
down.
away this ability and lower its hit points by X%.
Yeah, and there was very few, like there was ultimately very few things that you needed to like really watch out for, unless you were bringing like mid-level or high-level monsters down to
Okay.
like the lowest levels.
So Cadwalder says that their biggest argument against these sorts of balancing gripes is that all of them can be mitigated by even half a decent DM. And here's the problem with that argument, and I very much disagree with that. In fourth, if you were a halfway decent DM, you were well above having to glance at the math. You could kind of guesstimate and do a pretty good job and change things on the fly, and it would work out fine. In 5th, you really can't do that because the quote math that they've figured out and the quote balancing of like what creatures have what sorts of powers. So for example, like they know that no class gets the ability to fly before X level. So there's stuff that doesn't deal with flying characters until later levels of CRs, for one example. That sort of stuff is way harder to balance in 5th edition. You could just adjust.
I mean,
HP
I just say
on the
simply
fly.
put that 5th gave you like, or 4th taught you to be a decent DM. It didn't
Yes.
sit there and be like, well, if you're good at your job, then you'll
could
be
just do
able
it.
to deal with
Yeah.
this, because that requires you to understand the problem before you can fix it. Like, you need to understand problems before you can fix them, and
And so, yeah,
so,
fourth,
yeah, like-
fourth helped you understand the problems. 4th was like, if your characters are having trouble hitting, then adjust AC. If your
Yeah.
characters are hitting but not hard enough, adjust HP. Like, and yes,
if
can
you
figure
have
out
4
these things over
wizards
time
and they
with
can
it.
just AoE everything, then like, here's the direction you need to like shift stuff.
Right. If you can AoE and hit 10 things at a time, then throw hordes of things at them, or
Yeah, either throw
one really
more
big
things
thing, you know
or
what I
bring
mean?
it. Yeah, like find the mix, find what your players are plowing through, find what they're struggling with, and then get the mix of that you want in order, like that you and they want, in order to create a really really kind of satisfying game, so that everybody's having fun.
And that's the thing. That's my other problem with that concept of if you were even a halfway decent DM. Now, I don't think that the game should per se like baby new players, but there does have to be a learning curve, especially for the extremely specialized role of game mastering or dungeon mastering. And you should be able to be a new DM and not have a game fall apart in your hands and have all of your players not having fun and not knowing how to fix it. And in 5th edition, that is possible. Dan and I were talking about that we're running Sunless Citadel, which is a revamp of a 3rd edition or a 3.5 edition module into 5th. They released it in like an adventure set of like a bunch of mini campaigns, and we're playing through it. I played through the original in 3.5, and we were talking about how like the chance of losing at least one party member playing through the module as written with the right amount of players, even if those players are experienced players, the chance is 60+% that you lose one party member in a 1st to 5th level campaign. And that, I think, is something that's supposed to be like, hey, you're new. Here's a 1st level thing you can run first time with your friends. And not only do you not have any of the tools or anything taught to you or told to you about how to mitigate, how to change encounters to help your characters like attack them or have them be appropriate challenge levels, but you also start off with a campaign that's really likely to kill one of your players, who, if they're also new, like, sure, some groups are going to have a fine time with that. Some groups are going to accept it, even if they're not happy about it. But, I mean, that could really discourage a lot of new people who are like, hey, we thought this was going to be a good time. And then it was, like, impossible to not have one of us die.
Yeah, it's actually really...
I'm like, I think there should be a chance, if there's totally no risk of death, even if there literally isn't a risk of death, there should at least feel like there is. Like there should feel like there's consequences. Even
Yeah,
if you
things
as
should
the
feel
DM in your head
threatening.
know, like, well, I'm not gonna let anyone die. I'm just gonna like fudge it. Like there should feel like there is.
Yeah,
So that's not what I'm saying.
one of the
I'm saying that
ironic
if you were to
things
come at this new.
One of the ironic things about having really oblique systems, like really difficult to adjust encounter math, like really hard to customize monsters, is that it ends up creating the situation that a lot of people really, really despise, which is that when the DM just lies and fudges rolls and has to like make stuff up in order to save an encounter or like keep things from just going completely pear-shaped.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, if you actually gave the DM proper tools to like fine-tune things, they wouldn't need to do that.
Right.
But if,
you don't
if
you don't
monsters,
need to fudge rolls if you can just on the fly make some minor adjustments.
Yeah. If monsters are like really hard to modify in a way that you feel confident about the outcomes, then it basically pushes you into like, screw it, just cheat, just
Right.
just make it up, just
Or
lie,
the
just
opposite. You get fed up, and so you're like, no, dice lay where they roll, and oh well, if you guys get killed. And I would never say oh well. I can appreciate people wanting like more of verisimilitude in their combat sim. Like I can get behind some people enjoying that playstyle, but if that's not a playstyle that your entire group enjoys, you should not be trying to go for that. And the 5th edition tools don't give you enough to teach you how to DM for different groups. And for example, the kind of groups where that isn't at all fun for them. Especially with all new players, people get surprisingly attached to their characters. And even if you're experienced, you can get surprisingly attached to your characters, but particularly for first-time players. I remember, so when I played Sunless Citadel in 3.5, that was the very first campaign I ever played. It was with the very first D&D character I ever rolled with all of my IRL best friends, and it was over the weekend of my 21st birthday. So it was like all these great memories, right? The very first roll that you make in the entire game, the first roll that's actually required by the book, is a dex save to not get blown off a cliff edge. You're walking down towards this sunken citadel, and you need to roll a dex save because a wind comes by and can knock you off. And I failed it because it was like a 12 or a 13 or something crazy for a first level 3. Because in 3.5, you got like a maybe a +3 if you were super lucky. So like that was really high for a very first roll. I failed. And the only reason that my character did not instantly die, because it was an instant death. It was if you fail, you fall, and you take like 7d6 falling damage. Game over. The only reason is because our DM was like, wow, that would be super shitty of me to let happen to Crystal, who is the only person at this table who has never played before. So I am going to give the person next to her a chance to make a different dex save to try to grab her and like keep her from falling. And so he like had to throw that in, right? Now, we could argue about whether that should even need to be a thing. Which obviously stances, wow, no, that should not be a thing. But like, I was super attached to that character because it was like really fun. I was really excited. I'd never played D&D before, and I was playing with all my friends. It would have been absolutely the worst. And that should not be something that you do to a bunch of new players. Is just like come out the gate like one of y'all's gonna die in this first adventure faux show. Like screw you all. How's this fight going? We'll go
really
back to this
long.
game for a minute. Yeah, it seems like it's been going on for
pretty
a while.
grindy. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got him. I was gonna put something, say something. One of the kind of emergent problems here is like that D&D as the premier forefront, like as the RPG that people think of when they think about the genre, is that it tries to be maybe a few too many things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically like it's trying to be Dark Souls, but it is also trying to be oh dang it, what was that farming game that we New Leaf. What was New Leaf?
What?
What was that game that we were playing?
Farming game?
Like where we were building our campsites and stuff. Was
the Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. Like that is they want it to be Dark Souls, but they also want it to be Animal Crossing.
On me,
yeah, sorry. They want it to be
Hold on, you're still doing the thing. Okay.
That they
I
want
think
it...
I'm back. I can hear movement.
They want it to be Dark Souls, but they also want it to be Animal Crossing. That it's like, oh well, you can just like wander around and do whatever. You can start a town and just make friends, and you can be a trader. You can be a whatever. I
don't know. You mean like something?
What?
You said, what game were we playing?
I already answered the question. It's Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Are you that far behind?
Trying to be Dark Souls and Animal Crossing. Were you back to talk? Not the only one. Wrong Fun also asked, "What do you mean it's trying? What is trying to be Dark Souls and Animal Crossing?" So you didn't just cut out for me. Can you hear me?
No one can hear you. You're cutting out like wicked hard.
Me. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the call.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got to be standing in like just the right position to trigger that. Oh, we're still not even on Earth yet.
Okay, so were you saying that 5th edition was trying to be both Dark Souls and Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Okay, so continue on that line of thought. Because before that, you were cutting out for me all over the place.
All right, one sec. These are obnoxious. There we go. Turrets destroyed. Destroyed 5 jade turrets. No, come on. No, grab. No, grab. No, just this like be everything sort of, it's like, oh, it's a singular RPG system that does everything. 3 was a lot more, 3 had a lot more of this, but 5th rolls back to 3 in a lot of key ways that ends up bringing a lot of this back. But this identity sense of like, okay, well, what is it as a game? And the identity of the game, they end up pushing it into this kind kind of simulation sphere that it doesn't necessarily actually work inside of. Oh, come on.
Vexel says the game didn't feel fun until third level, and even then it felt like it didn't want you to have fun. And that is a really good summary of 5th edition, actually. That's something Dan and I have been going over a lot.
So the be everything nature. Oh, I guess I need to reflect this attack. Oh, missed. The be everything nature ends up interfering with having an actual like strong core identity of, you know, what kind of a game it is, and you know, how it's supposed to be balanced, how it's supposed to play. You know, people complain about, you know, a lot of people complained about, it's like, oh, well, 4th is, you know, it's just a board game, or it's a, you know, it's a fight simulating board game. It's a minis game. It's a minis game. And it's like, yeah, like they're not actually entirely wrong, because it very much, like, it went very strong in on being like a tight tactical game about having big grand adventures where you're, you know, saviors of the universe. And it does a very, very good job of emulating that specific kind of campaign and story.
And I think they also did a good job of really paring down what did and didn't really need roles. Like, they mushed a lot of skills into whole skill sets. So if you felt like you needed a role, it was one thing. And they even took out some of the skill roles that really shouldn't have ever needed to be like, there really shouldn't have needed to be an element of chance, like just role play.
Yeah.
And so they took the dice out of role playing and put the dice where they belong in just combat, and I think it did a good job.
It's like, well, I'm gonna try to get information out of this guy to figure out like what's going on around here. And it's like, okay, well, roll to see if you can progress the plot.
Yeah, no, and like,
it's like, how about
even where it did do that, they were very clear where it was like, okay, roll and use that as like one roll for, say, an entire conversation or a scene of dialogue, and only re-roll a different thing if you're changing tactics, and don't let anything be a fail. It's not like where if you roll it, you say the opposite thing, which we were laughing about earlier. It's not where if you roll bad, you say the wrong thing. It's that your tactic isn't working. So for example, in 4th, it was pretty good at explaining that if you try to roll persuasion and persuade someone to give you information, say you're persuading them by bribing them, you're trying to give them money. Failing that roll wouldn't mean that like you like drop money all over or like something. It just means that money isn't going to work on them. Try something else. And it was pretty good about both describing and giving DMs/GMs tools to help characters fail forward. And I don't think 5th edition describes the concept of fail forward well. What's that?
There was a gap on the far side of the Oh. All right, I guess I got to do this jumping puzzle all in a row. Okay, I guess it wait. Where to now? No. I got to the end, and then it was like, all right, here's a wall. And it's like, wait, what? Wall. Why wall? Oh. Oh, over the edge. Went too far again. All right.
So yeah, I don't think that in 5th, I don't think 5th does a good job of, and I think it's designed that way. I don't think it does a good job of teaching fail forward to GMs because it doesn't give a shit if you embrace fail forward as a core concept of playing D&D as a collaborative storytelling game.
Yeah, because a lot of it wants to go back to this, like, it's like I put air quote old school mentality of like, oh well, you just kind of find a story, and if you fail on a critical roll, that's it. Like, go find a different adventure. Your adventure is in a different castle. And why is that a physics-based jump?
Yeah. So okay, so Cthulhu is saying that I think what I'm gathering is that it doesn't matter like if the books teach you those concepts because you're still going to have dicks who only care about ruining their party's attempts at doing things. You have a quote forum culture where the DM is expected to be a dick and fuck over their players.
Yes,
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I still don't think that the books should play into that. The books should set it up so that way the DM understands how the system is meant to be used. Of course, you're still going to have DMs who do their own style. Of course, you're still going to have DMs who want to change that and house rule stuff. What's that?
You're going to have DMs who are highly antagonistic.
Exactly, because they came up, they've been playing since original or AD&D where there were a million gotcha traps. There were a million save or dies. There was the point. Oh God, what's that one book? The guy made the book of traps. It's like someone's book of traps. It was a third party thing. It was for AD&D, or second edition, something or other. And it was just, it's like you look at all of them and they're literally like one failed save can kill an entire party because it sets off the string of things. And you keep seeing screenshots of it, like people bringing it back and being like, who hurt you, guy who wrote this book? And it's like, seriously, who did? Like, but back in that day, that style, that was what people wanted to do and they were having fun with. Like, they would come to the table with a stack of character sheets knowing they were going to lose a bunch of them.
Wait, picture in picture. Why do I have picture in picture? What? Okay. I mean, something that I've talked about at length. Wait, did that not work? Okay, that's I don't know, that's so weird. Something I've talked about at length is one of the weird things about how we've come to perceive the way that D&D used to work is based on I don't want to say faulty information, but definitely skewed information. So a lot of the old modules are actually like they're actually
Go ahead and hit the guy first.
Sorry,
It's okay. I'll get you back on track. You do what you got to do. That's what I'm here for, is to remind you what your train of thought was before you got caught up in the game.
They're convention modules. They're tournament modules.
Right. Like, that's what a lot of those surviving ones came out of. And of course the point was for only a certain number of people to keep making it moving forward.
Yeah, because it was a competition of like you versus 13 other tables of people.
And not only you, but you versus the other people at your table. Like, there were a lot of them where then you didn't care if your party members died as long as you made it to the end.
Yeah, because you can get personally a higher score by collecting more stuff. And having just like more. So it's like your table could win and then you would win at your table. So, these end up sort of changing our perspective of things. And so one of the infamous one, Tomb of Horrors, was never actually written to be a good D&D module. It was written to
Like
be
a
a good
home
tournament
adventure.
module. Like the whole point of it, actually, the whole point of Tomb of Horrors is that you can't character through it. Like it's just a giant chain of puzzles that you need to figure out as a table, like out of character, like just as a bunch of people. It would be like, it would actually be like if you showed up for D&D and the DM was just like, all right, here's a book of Sudoku puzzles. You level up when you're done. And it's like, none of these puzzles require anything in character. They're all just like these bizarre logic puzzles that you can finish at level 1 because it doesn't matter. Everything just kills you anyway.
Right.
So, it doesn't matter what level you are. And that's kind of the funny thing about it. I mean, and that's also part of why people really like it, is because it is this, just kind of D&D themed puzzle book. A bunch of riddles and whatnot.
Right. It's yeah, and then also though, on top of that, people forget, and I will even admit that I completely didn't even ever think about this as a concept because I hadn't played in anything before third. So like I knew of it as an abstract, but I hadn't internalized it until I think you were the one that retweeted some thread about how in second or AD&D, like you got XP based on like the amount of loot that you brought back. Like
Yeah, your
that's why there were
primary.
encumbrance rules. That's why you were that's where the murder hobo started, was because the more crap, you didn't get anything for killing stuff, but you got something for looting all their bodies and stealing all their treasure. So like,
Yeah, this was a big problem with second edition, that the people building second edition didn't entirely understand why. Like they, I guess they just didn't get the math behind the XP curve and like why it worked the way that it did. That it was like,
right.
okay, like second edition is notorious for being like absurdly slow to level up, and people will hold that as a point of pride. They'll be like, it's like, oh yeah, man, I played second edition when it took like 2 years of playing every single week for
Right.
10 hours on a Saturday just to get to just to get to, level 10. And, there's this, bragging about it. And it's like, no, it wasn't supposed to take you that long. Second goes so slow because they removed the rules about getting, getting XP from loot, from gold. That it's like you used to get one XP from per gold that you brought home, and that was actually where the majority of your experience came from.
Right, you didn't get anything from killing anything.
Well, you did, but you got a pittance. You got, like at the end of the day, like 10% of your XP would come from killing monsters, and 90% would come from gear. Would come from, not gear, from loot. Destroy the spot. Energize the jade columns to awaken the defense. What does it want me to do? I don't. Is there a prompt here somewhere? Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. I needed to throw. All right. We got it. So much of your experience would come from loot. Like, yeah, as you said, like that's why encumbrance rules. That's why kind of all of these different things, because they were interrelated systems.
Right.
And once you start like disconnecting some of those systems, suddenly you have these experience rules that are ridiculously slow.
Yeah, and And it. Oh, hold on 1 second. I just got a text from my mother. Hello, Mama.
Oh no. Oh, there's our first death. Let's see. Let's find out how death works. Yeah, just back to the last checkpoint with, am I going to be at the same hit points, or is it going to heal me? Is it a gimme? Oh yeah, I'm at all right. Death is extremely forgiving. Now we know. In fact, death is so forgiving that I would be tempted to say it's kind of in your best interest to die occasionally, just to.
Just every once in a while, you come back with full health. So.
I just need to get the timing on that turret. Nope. Too early. Too early? Too early. Come on, that was right on time.
Okay, so Max Rage
Too
says that they're still surprised that most people apparently don't take feats in 5th E like at all. Here's the thing. The book specifically states that feats are a DM approved option only. And you only get them if you give up boosting any of your stats.
Also, most of them blow.
And because of that, yeah, because they decided to make them optional for because they decided to make them optional and DM approved, they didn't put as much effort into making them like a core piece of the game, so they didn't put as much effort into making a ton of really cool ones. There's
So
it
ends up, yeah, so it's a half-assed system.
Yeah, you'll find some depending on what character you decide to play, you might have more on one character than others that you find desirable. Like some of them are good times, but I mean,
basically everybody should take Lucky, so that they can lay down and get super advantage. Lucky is amazing, so oh, disadvantage becomes super advantage. It's great. All right, boss fight. I'm gonna throw my hammer in your face. No, I'm gonna enter a cutscene.
Here's the thing. As far as the game is concerned, as far as the system itself, like what it encourages you to do, the system encourages you to max out all of your stats to 20 as soon as possible. Or not all, sorry. Your 2 to 3 stats that matter at all to your class, because you will have at least 2, 3, or 4 that literally are meaningless. So it encourages you to get those 3 to max to 20, and then maybe take feats later. And so by the time you hit levels where you would stop taking points because you've hit 20 and start taking feats, they're useless. Like they're not as good. The house rule that I have taken with them is that I have seen the best option, I think, is to allow both a stat increase and a feat whenever they would be available, and just make both optional. Like you don't have to take a feat, but if you want one, you can pick one, or 1 and 1. Like you can increase stat by 1 instead of 2, and you can take 1 feat. Those are like some hot fixes that I've seen that work pretty well without fudging anything up in the system, honestly.
I mean, as a backhanded compliment, one of the kind of advantages of 5th is the math is already so screwed up that there's not a whole lot you can do to make it worse. Like, Making characters overpowered
Doesn't
isn't
matter.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You can let people all take a feat at first level and get like 5 extra points in the point buy system and like whatever else you want. They still only have 8 hit points. They still could die from 1 or 2 hits of freaking goblin in the first encounter. It doesn't change anything. The other thing that I always
Monster
had,
design is so sloppy. Like, there's nothing quite as bad as Giant Crab. I don't think D&D has ever quite gotten as bad as Giant Crab.
okay, Cthulhu says that there's Dragonborn racial feat that lets Dragonborn grow wings. You're talking about, I believe, Unearthed Arcana, but here's the problem with Unearthed Arcana. That is stuff that is generally, if it is playtested, it's playtested at Wizard's office. It's not playtested elsewhere, so I don't have a problem with allowing things from Unearthed Arcana in games, but you have to be very careful because it's almost like grabbing something third party that like you're not sure if it's been tested with the system as a whole. And 5th edition is so bad that it's
so poorly playtested.
Math-wise, I'm sorry, 5th edition. 5th edition so bad. Math-wise, it's hard to break. But like giving things actual abilities and powers and like that kind of stuff, you could make it even worse in other ways. Okay, so it's in Xanathar's, so I would say that that's probably been playtested at like
a little bit more marginally.
Like you can see the difference. Xanathar's has the same bardic colleges that were released first in Unearthed Arcana, and you can look at them side by side and see that they've definitely made some adjustments. They've dialed a few things back. They've upped some stuff that what didn't seem worth it before. And that's a really good example to see like how different things can be from that online published article to deciding it goes in a real book.
Playtested in Unearthed Arcana largely means we tried this for 20 minutes at lunch and it seemed okay. It didn't cause any like overt problems that we caught right away.
Yeah, exactly. Satan's best buddy says, "Are they really issues or are they quote features?" And you know what? You make that joke and it is a funny joke, but here's the funniest part of it to me is that one of the biggest problems with 5th is that it does think that all of these are features. How goes your bashy bashy?
Obnoxious. I need to knock these pillars down. You know what, let's try
Good luck, bro.
This. There we go. Oh, 3 out of 4. One more to go. I did find... I do sort of have a dodge. It's a dash. It works. It works a little bit. Alright. Do I have enough to...
Are you concentrating? Are you in Dan concentrates on the game mode?
Yes, a little bit. I'm mostly trying to I'm trying to end this a little bit faster. All right.
Oh, Dan, we each get another +1 into one of our stats because other Dan rolled 4 of a kind. So retroactively, one of your stats is better.
That's a weird. I gotta say that's a really weird rule that y'all have.
That's not me. Drew did all that on his own.
That's a really weird rule that Drew cooked up. Like I don't think he appreciates just how valuable that is.
No, he does. He didn't at first because he he did kind of like abstractly, but I was like, no, you really need to look and see. Like, you cannot go above 20 unless with magic. So the closer we get to having, like, the closer we have to 20 in as many stats, the like way crazily powered we are, the earlier on. And it'll balance out eventually, but it'll take a while because the game assumes that you can't get above a 17, and even that you can only get in one stat.
Yeah.
And so we
Well,
have
and
pretty
that
high.
with pure synergy, like the game, yeah, the game assumes you don't start with anything above a natural 15.
Right. And but here's the thing. So I'm in the same camp of Drew as far as I like letting characters feel a little bit more like, I don't mind giving, like, I always give my characters a freebie 18. Like, anytime, even when I would just be like, okay, whatever your lowest stat is, just drop it and make it an 18 and leave the rest. And I don't know, it's fun. I don't know, it's I like running the kind of games where I like having like heroically powerful characters, and it's harder to figure out what that stat number is in fifth, because it just assumes that you stay at very mid teens in most of your stats for
Yeah.
so much of the game, so
Well, I
it's hard to
mean,
figure out, like, okay,
especially
what's the balance.
handing out like more good stats, like since like actually here's sort of the funny thing about it is that the like generally speaking, most classes have only have like one or two stats that they really care about. And so giving people more stats, like if you have all 18s, for most characters, that isn't really any different as an actual outcome. It doesn't really change anything versus if you had just had 118. Your character isn't behaving differently.
Right,
And
right.
I think I'm gonna die in a second here because I can't.
I'll let you die, then we can
Oh
go
wait, no,
back.
I got a bunch of healing.
Oh, congrats, good job, you did so good. Oh, Dan, I'm so proud of you.
It wasn't giving me it wasn't giving me the like shift around prompts when I did. Also, I'm surprised that that isn't a. Huh. Interesting.
So, so yeah, I definitely don't.
Oh, like yeah. So like I was saying, so giving players more 18s doesn't actually change a whole lot about the outcomes, and in the places where it does change the outcomes, you're actually kind of leveling the playing field because you've got a bunch of classes that actually kind of suck because they're multi-attack dependent. Like the number of stats that they key off of is too many that it's like, okay, well, you have like one kind of attack that you have 10% less of a chance to hit with versus your main attack, and it's just kind of this like meaningless nerf because D&D fifth edition in particular really like D&D as a whole, but fifth in particular really likes to key success off of accuracy. Like that's the main lever that they use for balancing things. Is it's like, okay, if you want to get it more powerful at something, you get more accurate at doing it.
Yeah.
And so the
Which
side
is
effect of that,
which is a way to translate the concept of skill and training, like being able to more accurately do
it
things
is,
a way to translate that.
but the
If
side
you
effect
know.
of it is that it's so important that having less accuracy at a thing you do is bad.
Right. It's not that more accuracy is gooder and less accuracy is just less gooder. It is more accuracy is great and less accuracy is actively bad.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
since there's kind of a, there's going to be a through line of like expected outcomes that's going to be like, okay, well, the game assumes you have a certain degree of accuracy at certain levels, that you're doing a certain amount of damage, and having less accuracy directly impacts how much damage you're doing as an outcome. And so classes that depend on multiple different attack forms end up suffering dramatically as a result. So if you just give out more, if you just straight
Stat
up
points.
give out more stat points,
I also
oh, that
know
was
for a
weird.
fact
Okay.
that a small reason why, maybe not the whole reason, but part of the reason why he wanted us to be able to get these higher stats is because he likes the new multi-classing system, which I think in a system full of broken things, I feel like the way that they've done multi-classing for the broken system that they have is actually pretty decent. Like, it's not in fourth
It
edition, multi-classing was trash.
Fourth edition multiclassing was a
A
token.
sad mistake.
Well, I don't want to say it was a sad mistake. It was a token to kind of the people who desperately wanted it. That it was like, okay, we feel
Yeah.
obligated to include
Yeah.
this because
But
people
it
really
was
want
so
it. But
almost nothing, almost no part of multi-classing was worth what you were losing. And yes, obviously, I agree that there should be, you should be giving stuff up in order to gain levels in a different class. But you gave up literally anything for the smallest crap. It was bad. So fifth, I will give fifth the multi-classing, and fifth is pretty okay.
it's
I would even venture to say good, as it within the context of the fifth edition system.
now
Like, you're already working in a broken system.
you already kind of know my complaint about this is that the side effect of it is that it has a
Chain effect, like
consequence.
how
It
long
has a
it
chain
takes for you
effect.
to get anything.
Before you get anything cool or even like core to your class.
Right. Like, even if you take only one level before third in a different class, you are now putting off until fourth level having all of your classes like key core abilities. And if you go back and forth, like if you decide to go 1-1-1-1-1-1, you don't get any of them until fifth, and then the rest until sixth, which is about the time that everyone else in your party is getting like their cool ability in their class is at sixth level. So yeah, so it does do away with that.
And it also like this goes back to the it's like, oh well, it's the tutorial levels, like the first couple levels are the tutorial levels. Is that that's kind of like a back justification for the fact that it's like none of the classes have any cool stuff at first level. Like most of them are
Right.
really super lame at
Like,
first
if you-
level, specifically
wanted-
because
yeah.
we can't give people cool stuff
If-
at first level because it makes classes really good for a one level dip.
Right. What it should be really with multi-classing is you should have to wait until fourth level. Fourth level can be your first. If you want to stick with the first through third as tutorial, you would do first through third, and then at fourth would be your first time you were allowed to take multi-class. And you did. You got a combination right at fourth of the first through third level abilities of whatever class you were doing. Like, that would be the way to sort of mitigate that.
Yeah, so
obviously it's not a fix. It's a hot fix.
well, and
but,
this is kind of the thing where like if they had learned from sort of what went wrong with fourth multiclassing, then they could have come up with a really good fix. Because like, so the thing with fourth multiclassing that did work is this idea that it's like, okay, the multi-class version of a class should essentially give you, it should be sort of a one-time investment that gives you essentially scaling benefits, but it should be prepackaged. rather than just giving you everything from that class. Because otherwise, like if you just
Yeah.
get the other class, you end up with so many weird externalities that are hard to work around, you know, and whatever. So yeah, but
But yeah,
but
so
instead they went with a version of the third edition multiclassing that wound up just meaning that resulted in them needing to like completely rebuild the entire class structure in order to compensate for it.
yeah. And so but back to what got us on this topic and then the previous one with the stats and the extra points is that I know part of the reason that Drew was okay with us having more more stats that were higher, not just like a high stat or whatever, us to have the option if we wanted to multi-class and not have it just be like super lame. Like you were saying that if you were going to try to blend fighting styles, like if you wanted to be both ranged and melee, like you wanted to be a mid-level person who went back and forth, it's hard to be like accurate at both of those even over time because you have to bump so many different stats, and the core game mechanic just assumes that you're only going to have two stats that are high. Like the core game mechanic assumes you're going to have one stat that you put all your points in because it's your main attack, and one stat in that is either your defense in either your dex or your constitution. Like it assumes that you're going to have two highish stats or highest stats, and those will be your two uses of them, and that the rest will be low to average. Helisar says that we have both tuned out the game, and it is true. This game has been surprisingly boring. Some ship toaster says bye. I hope you guys rate D&D well in the stack of shame.
All right, punch his heart.
We are only.
Dang it! That means I'm gonna need to do him one more time.
Dan, apparently we are only 1/6 through this game, and I'm beginning to feel like you're never gonna go to Earth.
We're gonna go to Earth.
I want to go make out with Natalie Portman. If this game is not a making out with Natalie Portman sim, I don't understand why it exists.
Oh, how far back is that going to send me? What is the plot of this game? Frost Giants invaded Asgard, and so we went to Jotunheim to kill Frost Giants. That's the plot. That's... Oh, I think I just had to start this fight over. I swear that I... Okay, yeah, I don't... I'm going to bring about the apocalypse. Sorry, dude. Apocalypse time.
Dan, what were your feels on Natalie Portman's just definitively stellar performance as Jackie Onassis in the film Jackie?
I didn't see that one, actually.
You were too busy watching Book of Henry for the 30th time.
I might have been. I mean, let's be honest about the garbage that is my existence.
Earthman Dave wants to know if you have at any point bought any more upgrades. Is that a thing you have to choose to do? I thought it just like showed you that menu at certain like checkpoints.
No, we've got open access to it.
Wow, why don't you do that? Maybe that's why you're sucking so bad at killing this guy.
Sure. All right. Charge Mjolnir Smash. I don't think we really need that. Whenever Thor deals large amount of damage in a short time, he temporarily enters the Stormlord state and becomes imbued with power. Thor gains the following benefits. Okay,
Roll the
could it
D6,
scroll
Dan.
any slower? No, I'm just gonna fill out. Okay, this is 6,000. Do I have enough to get both of these right? Come on, come on. There we go. 4,000. So I have enough to get both of these. I'm just gonna max out the melee tree right now.
Sure, smart move. That's cool. You're being asked what your thoughts were on Annihilation. You said you were going to go see it. Did you end up going to see it?
No, we didn't.
Wow,
didn't wound up seeing
Dan.
it. It was a busy week.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll take that. I'll accept that. I thought you specifically said that you had plans like on a specific, like you had already, like it was set in your schedule, which usually means you're going to follow through on it. You're pretty good about that.
Okay. Come on, do the grab. There we go. Oh, that apparently didn't. All right, cool. Just blast him with electricity.
Hey, Dan.
Not okay.
Dan, what's going on? What's going on with you? How's life? How are you?
Life's okay.
Dan, we always talk about games and video games and complaints, but we never talk about Dan. How's Dan?
Now come on, attack from the air. There we go. I don't know. I'm doing all right. I haven't made as much progress on 50 Shades as I want, but I'm hoping to have it soon. Air
Have you
quote.
gotten all your recordings?
No, I failed to actually send most everyone the stuff, the correct.
Right, but you don't have like
stuff.
a set date yet, so you still could do that.
I could do that, or I could give up on the idea as a whole.
I don't like that. I don't like that plan. I think that's a terrible plan. So now I know. Now I know I have to take on Crystal, Dan's PR manager role, and get on you about this. Apparently. Frontline Caster suggests that you could give up on YouTube entirely and just stream 5 days a week. And you know,
No, that's not what.
I feel like you could. I feel like you could do it.
I mean, that's not what I meant. More.
I know it's not what you meant. Or were you clarifying for Frontline Caster?
I was clarifying that it's like that I would give up on actually like on the entire idea of actually getting anyone else to
Right. Dan, how many days till we find out if we're going to GDQ?
A week and a couple days. 2 Wednesdays. I'm doing the square attacks because I could use a heal.
That's too far. I don't like this plan. Can you just like email them and tell them to tell you now? They've got to know before they announce it. Like they have to make decisions beforehand, or they wouldn't be able to announce it on that day.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like they should be able to tell you now. They should be able to tell you if you did it.
They do generally know.
They should at least be able to tell you if you're out of the running or still in the running. You know what I mean? Like they should be able to tell if they've narrowed you out, like if they've cut you already. Don't you know anybody on the GDQ board?
I
don't. You could grease some palms. Oh right, part of this was because you were gonna like totally network a bit. Finally.
Wait, is this? Wait, is this? Is that what's his name? From. Oh crap!
Christopher
From the
Eccleston?
start of no, from the start of Ragnarok.
Taika Waititi? Jeff Goldblum?
Sarter.
Odin Dad?
No, Sarter.
Anthony Hopkins.
Sarter.
Idris Elba?
No.
I'm just gonna keep naming actors.
Yeah, you are, and it's gonna.
Were you just gonna say that it was gonna
I
piss
already,
you off? That it
I
was
already
gonna
answered
irritate
it. I answered it like 10 minutes ago, and you're still just naming actors. So.
I didn't hear you because I was naming actors. So you're just gonna aggressively crunch in my ears?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'll take it. I'll get out my chips. Don't get me started. Yeah, Prongles can.
We're just gonna crunch over Loki. Loki's doing some scheming,
but
and we don't care.
But I like Loki.
Yeah, but this is Thor 1 Loki. We got a trophy. Reap what you sow. We sowed something and we have reaped it. That one wasn't a good crunch. There's got to be one in here that's going to have a really good crunch. All right, this one should have a good crunch.
Here, all right, you do your good crunch, and then I'm gonna hit up mine. Just wait for it.
That was a decent crunch.
No, I barely heard it. I guess my stream cut out. Here we go. I got you. Here I come.
All right, we're finally in a different environment. We are in our third environment of the game.
Was that absurdly loud? Because it felt like it to me.
Yeah, a little.
Oh, don't worry, that won't happen again. You guys, if there were a photo of what I had to do to make that beautiful symphony for you. First of all, I shoveled not one, not two, but 4 prongles in my mouth at the same time. And literally put my mouth directly against my built-in mic. I'm lucky I didn't shoot out like prongle crumbs, like just all up in my keyboard. I'm so proud of that one. Someone's gonna cut our 2 mighty crunches. Okay.
Oh wait, I just jumped off without checking the room for secrets first.
Oh, boom.
Oh sweet, we're fighting lizards. Scrawlings. They got Skraelings. Thank you for correcting me, Thor. My pronunciation was off. So I took the hammer throw upgrade that lets me throw with two hands, but I don't know how to do it. Like it
So
didn't.
good.
Yeah, the description didn't actually include instructions. Oh, hello, Amy.
I just got a text message. Let me read it to you. So, I just logged on to that Twitch link you sent me last week, and it's just people chewing loudly into the microphone. It's like some mid-period Ingmar Bergman dinner scene.
Crystal,
Huh.
we just got compared to Ingmar Bergman.
I know, I'm really proud of that. I'm super flattered. mm. Hey Dan,
What's up?
can we stop?
Why?
I just, all right, you know what? No, I'll give it a bit longer because we actually did just finally change scenery and dudes.
Yeah, we've got new scenery and
So,
new
all
dudes.
right, I'll give it a little bit.
We've
longer.
energized 20 out of 100 runic diagrams, and now it's 21 because there were 2 in a row because it's using it as a loading buffer. Oh look, here's another one over here. I bet this counts. This is a runic thing. Oh, it's a save point, but I bet that counts. That counts. Oh, Amy, what are you stealing? What are you stealing, Amy?
Oh.
Amy, what are you trying to steal?
Is it foam?
I don't know. I can't tell what she's trying to steal.
She doesn't have anything in her mouth.
So. All right. It's fine. It's fine. Unintelligible language. You're on Vanaheim. Are we gonna have to go through like all of the 9 realms? How many of the realms do we go through?
Cthulhu has said hello to Laura.
Find and clear the obstruction.
Hello!
Whoa! Hi!
Alright, that was the... Oops, all 9 realms.
That's a good clip.
Oh, that just takes me back down. Wait. Why is this one green? Is it just because that's... Do I need to go back out? From a quick check, there's 1 more realm to go. Well, that gave me a spinning hammer and a load. And, oh, that's an uncharacteristically long load. Huh. Let's crunch during this load.
Don't tempt me, Dan. I'll do it again.
Just gonna.
That's a solid clip.
Huh. So,
Dan, are you gonna press circle or?
I did. It didn't do anything. So, huh.
Are you frozen?
Well, not technically. I mean, it is still animating the spinning hammer.
Right.
So it hasn't like completely
It
locked
hasn't
up.
given up trying.
Yeah, it hasn't completely locked up.
It hasn't given up on life yet.
It just isn't loading.
Well, while you're stuck there, I'm gonna go get a refill on my bubbles. Cause...
Oh, I was gonna do that too.
Well, sorry, you can't just abandon
Okay,
everyone, and
fine.
I left first. Bye.
All right, everybody, ask me questions about Crystal. Come on, Crystal Q&A. Ask me questions about her. Well, what is Crystal doesn't have secret fetishes. Where did Crystal learn to crunch? I taught her everything she knows about crunch. Does she secretly like corn? No, she very publicly hates it. What's her favorite color? Mauve. What is her fursona? It's you remember Disney's Disney's Robin Hood. It's Maid Marian from Robin Hood. What is Crystal's most shameful thing from the 90s she likes? The 90s themselves. What D&D class is Crystal most like? Rogue, for obvious reasons. Is Crystal some number of small things in a trench coat? Yes, but I'm not going to tell you what. How cool is Crystal? 30. What kind of alien is Crystal? She's a crystal alien. Is she actually an ancient rock person? I think I just answered that one. Why does Crystal hate tieflings? She doesn't. I don't think. Yeah. Crystal's favorite anime. It's Death Note for obvious reasons. Did Crystal murder Mr. Sickleman? I think I just answered that one. Is Crystal 3D? Mostly. She is at least an illusion thereof.
What's going on?
Nothing.
What are you guys talking
Absolutely
about?
nothing. Nothing's going on.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a new can, so silence, please. Okay, all right.
So, Crystal, amphetamines and Disney princesses.
What? What'd you say?
Amphetamines and Disney princesses.
Amphetamines? Oh, the crunch. You can go do what you want to do now. I just was thirsty and I beat you, so you go get a bev?
I'm gonna go get a bev.
Okay, I'll be here crunching. Okay, so if you've never been on the stream before, it is now Crystal answers questions about Dan time. So if you have any questions about Dan you've ever wondered, Crystal will answer them because Crystal's known Dan for like over a decade. It's crazy. Ready, set, go. Dan's persona is a helicopter. How many otters in a trench coat is Dan? I'm gonna say like 8. I feel like 8 is a solid estimate. It's kind of amorphous, like it changes from time to time. Dan's sort of like Zorro or like the Dread Pirate Roberts, in that it is just an identity that multiple otters at any one time assume. Bev is short for beverage. Yes, it is. That is correct. If Dan could be one comic book hero, who would he choose to be? Pizza Dog. How many iterations of Dan have there been as of now? Innumerable, uncountable. There's too many permutations as per how many otters there are in the world, obviously. If Dan were an edition of D&D, he would be 4th edition, in an alternate universe where a bunch of other really, really cool supplements came out for it, and it remained the current edition of D&D. If Dan were an ancient rock person, what kind of rock would he be? Oh, God, what kind of rock would he be? I'm going to go with let me see, like an amethyst. I feel like he'd be a solid amethyst, like a deep amethyst. Ooh, or like a really red kind of a tiger's eye. Yeah. Dan's adult movie. No. Maybe the last name would be Bacon, but he wouldn't go with Canadian as a first name. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that one. That's a good question. If Dan were a professional wrestler, what would his finishing move be? Kissing the other dude and attacking his toxic masculinity. Is Dan the snowman killer? I don't think I can say that publicly on stream where it will be saved forever. Come on, you guys. You can't ask me those kinds of questions here. Dan's favorite sword is obviously the longsword, because even he can manage using it better than Davis Arini. Dan's favorite type of cheese? Curds. Curds. Those are the ones on poutine, right? Curds.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Oh, I'm not here.
Oh, you just told me what curds were, so that's cool.
I did, yes.
Did you get a Bev?
I did.
What did you get?
Water.
Oh, wow. Way to make me look fat live on TV. Thank you.
I think I'm actually... I might only have... Like, I think I've only got a 1 liter of Dr. Pepper left, and I don't want to open a liter at, like, 9 at night.
Oh, right. And then it just sits all night, slowly losing fizz.
Yeah.
I hate 2 liters unless it's like a party or a game night scenario where I know it's probably going to get finished. Because I have this nasty habit with 2 liters where I will never finish one, because by the time it gets down to like the last glass to 2 glasses worth of soda, it's too flat for me to enjoy it anymore. Like as a fresh beverage, because I can leave out a can that I've had open that I'm slowly enjoying over time, and as the level of fizz slowly goes down over time from one drink, no big deal.
You acclimate.
But if I go pour myself a fresh new glass of soda and it is not fizzy as fuck, it's trash. And so I waste so much of 2 liters that they're just not worth it for me. So I understand the impetus to not want to open one at 9 at night.
Oh, Amy's in a mood. Amy's in a mood.
What did you do?
Let me show you the Amy mood.
Show Amy, Cam.
Is
she
okay?
Was she grumpy?
Can you hear?
I can hear her like. Argh. Is that her?
That's her.
Oh no!
That's the Amy mood.
Is it grumpy Amy mood or humping everything Amy mood?
It's grumpy Amy mood. She is in a grouchy mood, but she wants to lay down on the desk.
Oh, but you're using it. How's it going? Are you playing with her? I didn't.
given-
Are you? Do we
we've-
have a picture of Amy?
We've got Amy Cam.
Okay. Well, I'm cool with just watching Amy Cam for a little bit. Everybody is, I think. Oh, I'm about to finally. Oh, there she is. I love how adorably cross-eyed your cat is.
She's not cross-eyed. I don't
She
know why
looks
people think she's
cross-eyed.
cross-eyed.
She looks cross-eyed.
She's not
But it's
cross-eyed
really,
like
really
at
cute.
all.
No, I know that they're pointed forward, but she looks like she's cross-eyed because her pupils are so much closer to the insides of her eyes than the outsides. Oh my god, I could watch you pet that cat, just like gently stroke that baby kitty just forever. Can we do this next Monday instead? Just you pet Amy, the game?
Just kitty stream.
Please. Or at least maybe one night instead of a Monday, we'll do on a different day for a chill stream. It'll just you pet Amy.
We'll
like
just go
4
into
hours.
We'll just go into IRL.
Yeah, and you just pet Amy, and it's very soothing. There's like a soft, gentle boy hand just smoothing out Amy fur, and just get the mic in there so we can hear her make the sounds. It'd just be so satisfying. Look at that sweet baby! She's so cute. She's like,
Oh.
you know that instinct
No.
that some people have that when something's too cute, you want to like smash it? She doesn't always trigger that for me. Sometimes she's just like so cute that I can't stand it. I just want to like scream about it. But every once in a while, I just want to like squeeze it to death. I mean, not literally. It's just that urge. It's like, you know, like the call of the void? The like psychological urge, even though like you don't really want to. It's like that. It's like that, but with cute things.
All right. So
Oh no, let her touch it.
so
It doesn't have foam on it. She can't steal anything off it.
Oh. There you go, Amy. You've got Mike. So I don't
Oh my god, she's too
I
fucking
don't think this is gonna. I think we might. Yeah. I think the game crashed. It didn't crash the console, but the game definitely crashed.
Well, that is a problem. I feel like
now it crashed the PS3.
I feel like we could just call it then, because it's already past 11. We could spend the next half